Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. This is our little official second meeting of the month. And we have an agenda here. First on the agenda is Public Works verbal report by none other than the famous Director of Public Works.
Yeah, so I apologize I didn't get a written report into you. I had some family medical things going on. We only had one thing really going, and that is the stormwater improvements project. I was able to collect some of my notes from my daily reports here. Just gotta get to it, my apologies. So we started on 141st and 3rd place on July 9th. Everything proceeded pretty smoothly. We had an average of about 75 feet in 2 structures a day, so pretty quick pace. Moved along rather steadily, actually. Removed a lot of abandoned service lines from the old city water. Ran into those quite frequently. Didn't really have any issues. Still have final backfill and grading left to do. Moved on to 4th Street, installation of the C900. We had a change order for on August 5th and ran about 100 feet of that before we ran into gas obstructions. So from that point, I reached out to V&K and we've been working together with Mid-American. I had our contractor go through and pothole the rest of our working area. We found 8 service line obstructions and 1 main obstruction within our working area. So going through and working with Mid-American, we finally got things kind of squared away. Finally got an answer today, and it kind of looks like our turnaround for relocation on that is going to be about 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have these guys kind of button up some things on 141 and 3rd, and then we're kind of gonna leapfrog around probably to 141 and 5th and try and get some of our pipe done there while we're waiting for the relocation, and we'll move back to 4th Street and continue on. I'm not awfully concerned, considering the pace that we had on 141 and 3rd. Even with that 2-week setback, we're still going to get some things done, and I don't know that it's going to necessarily directly affect the timeline of the project as of yet. Still early. So that's what I've got so far.
We've talked with the school and all that happy jazz. They know, have they sent out anything to the people of the school, just to make sure that everybody knows that there is construction going on the roads, just as a
So I've had 2 separate conversations with the superintendent on that, and I've kept him apprised all the way through the project. When things started to change, I obviously reached back out to him and informed him that, hey, the project's going to be progressing a little slower in some areas, so we're gonna have those roads as a soft closure. So we'll still allow the resident traffic through there as we go, but he's gonna put out a notice to the parents that there is construction on 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Obviously, once this project is done, we're gonna have the overlay anyway, and that'll be a hard closure. So at least for the beginning portion of the school year here, yes, they're putting out a notice, and there's definitely going to be a different traffic route.
Yeah. And we're trying to get everybody to use 6th. This might be a good deal to get them. You gotta get them trained. They get used to it, and then they all work. They know that's gonna be there. So that'll be a good thing. Anything else? I'm sorry.
I have a question regarding that, actually. We've had a lot of new information given to us about stop signs, use of stop signs and things of that nature. there's been some suggestions that we put, you know, one-way designations on some of the streets downtown. And,
Downtown.
uptown, whatever you wanna call it. With that being said, there are places you go where you see signage like parking no parking from, you know, 5 AM to 9 AM, right? But then the rest of the day it's uncontrolled or what have you. You also see at crosswalks where they'll roll out a moving stop sign, right? That is not a permanent deal. Would it be advantageous, is it feasible to have like roll away one-way signs or roll away embargoes on roads for between the hours of whatever and whatever? Is that legal? Would it work?
So,
Do anything in 1 hour.
no, we can't just do anything we want, we still have to follow the guidelines, but there is criteria in the MUTCD, which is the set standard for that. You know, there is a set criteria for, restricted turning, signage, things of that nature where, say, you can't turn down this road between this time and this time. There is, you know, restricted parking, all those kind of things. But that's something that we would have to further look into. And if you guys would then need to decide the specifics of it.
Start date?
Well, not necessarily start date, but the timeframes, no turning left on whatever street from this time of day to this time of day, things like that. And I'm not entirely sure, I've only perused that section, but we might have to get with Sherry and see if that's something that has to be passed by ordinance, I would assume, so that we would actually have the ability to enforce it. So I don't think it can be enforced without it being an ordinance.
With that being said, it sounds like something that is definitely doable, and if, you know, the big 4-foot tall, 250-pound if standing in the road, if it seems like it might work, and if we decide that it's something we wanna do, it sounds to me like it's something we could go ahead and do. And if it works, then we could codify it and give it some teeth.
I think the permanent sign with the hours of restriction is the better way to go. Then you don't have to count on someone being there at that time in the morning and that time in the afternoon. So if we're going from 7 to 9 in the morning and 3 or 2 till 4 in the afternoon, that sign's always there. It's visible no matter when you come through the day. So anybody that addresses the school on a daily basis will know that it's there, and that's.
And you know, the police are there at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, the sheriff, they're always on school patrol when the kids are out of school. That's it, they always do that.
Want to make it simple for them too, so they can understand it.
Yeah, it's always
Don't
there.
make it confusing. You want something that's gonna be there all the time, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some in some cities where it was, from some cities, I should say, at some of the conferences, and it purely just says no turning Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
I was just in Spencer today, and coming out of the elementary on the northeast side of town, you gotta come out that way, no right-hand turn. Everybody's gotta go left. It's right there. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else have anything to add to it? Logan, you're good.
Alright.
Next item on the, we already kind of covered the traffic control for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. No, and 134th.
You were interested in one, it was 134th, so.
Yeah, on 134th. You know, my only concern, man, that new paving, that's a runway. I don't know if you noticed it, Bill, but man, they go fast in front of my house.
I don't know, I've been home just long enough to,
Holy cow,
like it was during the day, but.
well, you know, they're in a hurry to get to practice, they're in a hurry to the band, they're just going like crazy. And I still counted about 5 to 6 people walking dogs and kids and everything on the street. And I guess my concern is on 130, our street there, it's nice, beautiful piece of asphalt, the road, I mean, I really like it, if they get the water situation fixed on it. But, I just hate to see us go half ASS on it, and I know that Logan's gonna be lined up to paint the white line, or the white stop barrier at the stop signs on Diller. It just seems like if there was a way to, put a white line out there that would protect walkers, to keep people, away from walkers that go out and get their mail and walking their dog, and something like that would be a nice thing to do. You can buy that stuff on Amazon, install it ourselves. It's already they do it for construction when they want to do temporary lines and stuff, and that stuff seems to stick pretty good. But I think it would be a worthwhile investment, for us here for safety on 134th Avenue.
Again, we'll have to get with Logan, and our roads aren't that wide. Have you been up to Slater? Them roads are 1 car wider than any road we have in this town. That limits us what we can't shove the lane down to 8 foot when you got it.
No, I'm not asking for a big wide deal, maybe 3 or 4 feet.
On one side?
On one side.
If we have
Because
that,
that's where everybody's mailboxes are,
We don't.
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and.
We don't have that.
we don't have enough room.
For walking?
Yeah, just
I'm sorry, I was working on a map here.
just for safety, so people.
No, we don't have that. We've got a 22-foot road. We need 11-foot lanes.
There we go.
That's the minimum for a road width.
What's that?
Technically, that's the minimum for a road width.
Right. So we would have to
It's just
widen
gonna
the.
be a crying shame, but so.
Widen.
Yeah, it is.
It's cracked there, it's close. It's real close, and everybody goes out and gets their mail. It's just a bad situation. I don't know what to do.
Can we revisit the idea that I had? I don't know if this is viable, but I did at one point put out there that we could have, turn it into not necessarily a gated type entrance on even one end of the highway, but put in not necessarily a roundabout, but an island. That would prevent, the big trucks from coming down there, which would limit the damage. And if we had those, right smack dab in the middle, and then add a couple of speed bumps along the way, just make it a road that the kids just don't wanna drive.
Yeah, it's just inconvenient, very inconvenient. It's easier to go up to 142nd and come in that way. I need to donate some rocks. I get a bunch.
The roads aren't wide enough for islands. We gotta have 22 foot. There's just no room for that kind of.
It is wider at the entrance.
West end?
At the entrance.
At the east end?
Yeah, off of 69. We would just have to have a permit, and we'd be subject to whatever the DOT, because when we butt anything to their road, we gotta have a permit, so.
And we gotta follow the rules.
Could you move the stop signs in the middle of the intersection?
If you like replacing stop signs.
Well, I mean,
That's the other problem, they run over.
Yeah.
but I was thinking if you put it in the middle of the intersection, they gotta go.
What's you would have a curve around it and a couple of rocks and some flowers.
But I was thinking probably they'd have to
Them
go.
semis
Like
go.
a mini roundabout, right?
Like I said, yeah, this mini roundabout that.
Like a curving around the center, just 4 foot or 3 foot, and have a stop sign in the middle, so they have to go
do a study, see what it takes to put a 3 or 4 foot wide sidewalk on the south side of 134th? Do a study?
Well, that's the plan in 10 years or something to, when we do that, to have a sidewalk on the south side of the road so that walkers can walk around the whole Detmer deal without crossing traffic and still be safe about it. That's kind of the plan I understood, where we wanted to go when we actually take care of that road.
My, thoughts when we started talking about this other problem with drainage, on 134th, and then at the last meeting, Logan brought up the fact that we are going to have to get permanent easement back there to complete this work. I asked him, I said, would that allow for us to build a bike path sidewalk back there that Betterman was talking about a few years ago? And he said, absolutely. So then we'd have the easement that was preventing that project. And then I asked Sherry if there was any, state money, DNR money or whatnot out there for bike paths or whatnot. And it seems to me it'd be a pretty cheap deal to roll some asphalt out there after we're finished grading this drainage project. That wouldn't be very expensive at all. 'Cause initially they were looking at doing cement, which is quite pricey, and it's wholly different prep. So if we've got the equipment out there digging a trench anyway, we already have the easement, we can set that dirt where we want it and roll some asphalt. Just a thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Although, we would need permission, and the gentleman that's sitting right here, that would need permission from. Didn't want to throw one at you, but.
When this was first brought up to me, Bill called and asked if it would be okay to go on the land and put in tile to fix the problem. And I was fine with that, as long as they annihilate the crop damage, they did the crop problem. But now, to give up a permanent easement to fix a problem, I mean, if the problem was something on my land, and I wanted a permanent easement for all your property, would you give it to me? No. I'm not gonna do that.
How much of an easement do you want?
How much
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well,
Would you give him an easement to your property?
yeah,
That's what he's asking.
yeah.
We all got easement to our property for utilities and stuff.
Yeah, you have one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got a 10 foot.
You're getting something out of that easement. He's not getting anything out of
Yeah,
it. The easement, giving us an easement,
yeah.
except trespass.
But you can see right down the whole line between the field and the backyards where there's nothing, there's no farm, there's no backyard. It's just unused space.
Isn't there, the lot pins, there's 10 feet north and 10 feet south, it's 20 feet, isn't it?
Well, a lot, and there's, from there south. From the lot, then at the end of the lot.
It's
The easement is on the lot.
on the lot.
Lot side.
What else, can you come up here, we're having a tough time hearing you,
Okay.
Oh, Lauren can.
Okay, so the reason that we wanted to get these extra feedback signs is because we clearly have some dead areas where we're not able to collect any data. And that, I mean, it's not necessarily something that can be used against us, but we can use it for the benefit of the city, as well as the speed calming effect of them. It works about 40%, about 40% of people. We currently only have one on 142nd down here on the west end. Sherry and I talked for a while about getting one on the east side over here. It'd be probably either with the speed sign or the speed limit sign, or just shortly thereafter. Again, that's something we have to ask the county about. I've already asked, and they are more than happy to put up more of those for us on 142nd, 134th, wherever it is their actual road. They're more than happy to put up more of them for us. Bob had asked me to include another one for 134th, because we have one again on the west end, another one on the east end. They're just over $3,000 a piece. That's without municipal discount. I wasn't able to get an estimate with the municipal discount, or if they're still doing the DOT pricing this year. When we got them, they were just shy of 300, but they're about 3,200 a piece overall. So
They collect data.
yeah,
They
absolutely.
collect all the data that you would ever need, to justify something, maybe speed limit, not speed limit, but, traffic control,
So what we pay Sherry and Kim to come out and do when they do a speed study, and nothing can replace an engineering done speed study. I'm not saying that in any way, but instead of paying them $5,000 just for our curiosity, we can pull up the speed data. We can determine how many cars are going past, what speed they're going, what percentage of cars are speeding. I can compare them week to week, month to month. I mean, there's just an obnoxious level of stuff you can do with it. I've hooked up the county sheriff with that information and the county engineer, so they both have that. But we just currently have a couple blank areas that I personally think we should add to, so that we have it on every avenue coming in and out. That is, probably around $7,000 overall, with the telephone bar and mounting. So for two of them. That's all I have on that.
To what end, we have the speed studies done, and unless I missed something totally, it sounded like there wasn't anything we could do with that information anyway.
I know it feels like that sometimes, and I tend to agree with that to some extent, but just for the speed calming, when you compare the speed study that was before we had that one in there, and then you compare the data coming off of that, I mean, it does have some effect, speed calming wise. Now, it's not doing it for everybody, because people just want speed, and there's nothing that's gonna stop them except I was gonna say cherries and blueberries, but yeah.
me pitching a rock at them.
It's all, it can work for us, or it could, until we get them on every avenue coming in and out of the city. We can't really say with certainty what kind of effect it's gonna have.
Most of them are coming into a city to slow them down when they're coming in. Glad you're coming in, slow down. None of them are going out of the city on major thoroughfares. Glad you stopped by, but get down the road and get out as fast as you can and take your speed with you.
Yeah,
They're all coming into a city, not going out.
None of these would be going out.
No.
So west end, it's coming in.
Yeah.
We Shh, you're not supposed to say that.
The Lincoln Elementary, they've got one that's at 20 mile an hour flashing. Anything over 20 mile an hour and it's flashing. Yeah, I was just there today.
Well, there were some differences of opinion, so the other ones aren't set to flash at you. But they do register your speed, and it does go in and out. It doesn't necessarily flash at you, but it does go in and out and register your speed. But it does not have a message on the board. But I mean, we can put.
Anthony put one up, but right off the interstate up there, that flashes red and blue lights at you.
Oh, to 45. Yeah.
County road.
Ours won't do that, will
No. As far as I'm aware, the UMUTCD says you cannot have anything that strobes.
I was worried about that, there's a little white light, and I'm like, oh, smile, you're on the camera. Do you? I've seen them, you know, whoa!
He doesn't
He's
slow
got
down,
camera.
speeds up.
Hit the gas!
If you're doing the speed limit, does it smile at you?
I actually did have it smile at you for a little while if you were going the speed limit. There was a smiley face feature, but it started getting a little weird and didn't necessarily look like a smiley face, so I gotta figure out how to fix that.
The one if you're going through Slater, if you're actually going the speed limit, everybody thinks smile at you.
I've seen that.
That's
I've seen that. I did, I changed it to a thumbs up at one point. We can do a thumbs up, smiley face. There's a lot of things you can do with these guys. It's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Just, you know, lay it out there.
I'm fine with it. We gotta do something. We gotta make people in this community feel safe about being on their own streets. The speeding is ridiculous. I think the speed bumps, those little ones that we had in there before are fine. Put them back in. Everybody was used to them around here. And add them signs coming into town. It's a sense of security.
What do you think? I like the bigger speed bumps myself. Big with the front end, and $7,000 at least we could spend on speed bumps everywhere. You can do both. I mean, you just try and get their attention. Stop, please.
Yeah.
Just stop.
It's
Both.
It's absurd to me, in general, that I live, maybe just over a mile from the school, and I can't let my kid ride his bike to school. It's just too dangerous. There is no way that that's ever gonna happen. So we gotta do something. Something has to give.
You guys been over there by the Mile Long Bridge on the other side there where they're doing it roundabout?
Yeah.
I like them speed bumps there.
Yeah.
They're short.
Their speed bumps.
They got 3 of them in there.
I think they'd be pretty thick.
They got 3 of them in the street.
Oh, I guess I haven't seen those.
Where they go past the intersection and kind of go back.
Their landing pads are like 12 foot
Well,
long.
yeah, they are. Your opinion
And
is
they're 6 inches tall.
I'm fine with the signs, I think speed bumps are waste.
Well, you know, right now, uptown, you know, the construction's gonna limit areas, so we're not gonna be in a real big hurry to do anything until they overlay, get in asphalt and overlay the streets. But I'd really like to, you know, put together the program definitely after they get done overlaying the streets up there. You know, we could, you know, vote on, buying a sign, you're talking a sign out on 134th as you come in. We could proceed with that.
Proceed with the signs and go from there.
Yeah, you know, we could proceed, you know, but
Several spots.
you know, we'll put it as you need it as a resolution next week, next month, I guess, yeah. We'll put it in a resolution next month, and, you guys can make the decision, you know, to do that. Okay, next on the, agenda is the drainage on the north side of 134th
We don't want the crops out because he's so busy.
No, we don't wanna do that. We would never even consider that. It'd be when the crops are out, and Mr. Lanning indicated that he could fairly easily do that project, because he's familiar with the pipes, so.
I'm not interested in doing that project unless B and K says it's the appropriate thing to do. If B and K can't tell us, or engineer or whatever, whether we have a permanent easement or not, they can still advise us on how to do things.
Okay.
I would, my point on that
I'm listening.
is your V and K, the only way to be sure of what, I've watched your meetings, you wanna make sure you get everything done in one problem. The only way to be sure what's out there is to dig a trench the whole length and see, which if you put in your sewer, you'll be doing that, but then you won't need it either, if you put in your sewer. But that's the only way to be sure, because Ted is just going by the ones he's worked on, he knows where those are, and he's going from his experience as to where they might be. Your engineer has no clue of the property, and has no idea where it'll be, and the only way he can size it, he'll size for what the drainage is up above. He has no way to tell down below, unless you dig it up.
So there's still that opportunity for the two of them to talk.
So we just,
But then is it a waste of your time and your money if you're gonna actually do a sewer system?
yeah, well, as far as the sewer system, we don't have $20 million. That's what they want. They're a line mill, and $20 million to build a facility down. So I just don't see that happening. We're just trying to correct the problem, that we've inherited, and that's all. And then in a future value of your property, if you plat it, or somebody buys it and plats it, they're gonna know exactly what's there and how to work with it, and we'll make sure that happens, so that we don't have troubles. Because everything flows downhill, and anything you develop north, they're gonna have to deal with that.
Yes, but based on what I've seen in Ankeny and Canada, there's codes, they'll have to put in, reservoirs, but
Yeah.
drainage
Retention
ponds,
basins, yeah.
retention ponds and stuff, and for the most part, that's going to be above ground flow. You might see below ground between detention ponds until it gets to wherever it's going, but.
Nobody knows until
Yeah.
the developer decides how.
And if you're not putting in a sewer, that's,
We
4 years down the
wanna
road.
put in a sewer, I guarantee you, we wanna put in a sewer, but right now, unless we get a commitment from a developer who wants to buy either your property or another property or whatever, it gives us 100 to 200 homes, it's just out of the question.
and
For us.
that's a tough deal because no developer wants to pay more than the farmland value until there is a sewer. So there's no reason to
Catch
sell it.
22, it's a catch 22, I mean, that's our dilemma right now. But you never know, there's property for sale, and you never know, life could change. So. Anyway, any thoughts, guys?
I think we should buy some of that property, build a road,
Little what?
build a road from the school straight out to the highway.
I'd love to. This property line. If the school would commit to building a road and a roundabout in front of their elementary to hook onto that road, would be a wonderful thing too.
That would have to be all down on paper for a bond issue before,
Yeah, they're gonna.
because their hands are tied. When they have a bond issue and they say it's for this, this, and this, that's where they gotta spend it. That's what got us caught up in all this other stuff last year. They just can't do what everybody would like. They have to do what they put forth in their bond issue, and that's where they gotta spend their money. So everybody's hands was tied and we were butting heads, so.
So back to this drainage
time to solve the surface water problem coming down that hill. Because that tile that's in there is designed for fields. Once you compromise it with putting homes and roots growing in there, it's compromised. It's, no matter what you do, it's a continuous maintenance problem. It always will be.
Not if it's fixed on the north end of the property line.
You-
Because there ain't no trees growing down through there.
Through your properties, all going down, all them are clogged up because trees have compromised it. No matter what you do, put in PVC or whatever, wherever it's joined, the roots crawl back in there and clog it.
The way to do it,
Absolutely.
which I'm assuming what they're talking about
Surface
doing.
water at the moment.
Yeah,
We move on to
Wait a minute, guys, let's one at a time.
If your outlet, which my understanding would be going through Bill's property, if that outlet is a solid pipe instead of a perforated pipe,
That's what we're talking about.
then there wouldn't have any trees growing in it. And if it's out in the field,
Same thing.
you won't have trees growing in it unless, I guess, people plant a willow tree on the property line, and then it might go out 25 feet. That's possible.
So what are we doing with the pipe where you cut it that's going south?
It'll be abandoned. Pipe where I cut it.
It's gonna
Where
we intercept it. Where we
So you're planning on intercepting them, is my understanding.
Yes.
And everything would go into your pipe. When you're talking about putting in.
From the field?
So, yes, those would just be abandoned. There would be nothing to do with them, you could leave them there, if they work, they'd still drain from there on, but if they don't work, they'd just be abandoned.
Which may slow down immensely.
The original thought of this was to address some of this drainage problem behind the houses and some of these other houses and septic tanks and everything, get the water tables coming out. In the future, there's gonna be a solid pipe with a field tile, it's gonna hook into the solid pipe where trees can't grow. And go up to the high point of that road, and if there's other field tile, which we don't know about, and the depth we don't know about, it'll address that, get it in there, now it's recorded. That also sets precedents for the elevations of the street and the basements of future houses. To kill two birds with one stone. It's not gonna address the surface water, it addresses the field tile water. That's all that is. It's all we're trying to do.
Oh, then you're gonna have to put it more than 8 foot in the ground.
You're what?
Then you're gonna have to put it more than 8 foot in the ground.
We don't know. That's just it. We're
Well,
going
I'm just saying,
It might be.
if you're trying to.
6 foot.
Huh?
Mine was 6 foot.
It's probably be 5 or 6 foot.
6.8.
The pipe, 6.8, yeah, we measured
Six
everything.
point eight.
They're not that deep in the field, because
You're right.
the guy who broke the one in the field driving over it was his,
Yeah, with his
Right.
tractor, so
Yeah.
it was not
so it's 2 feet. or
2
whatever.
foot.
Yeah. Yeah, it declines.
We're just trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Well, I'm guessing where yours was, that waterway used to come out in an angle, and you have 2 culverts in the ditch, I think they're still there, that are in an angle. That used to be in an angle lined up with the waterway, and I'm guessing that when the waterway was taken out and cut in, there was probably fill put in there to fill in the waterway to the ditch, so that probably added 3 feet to your, that's probably how you got to 6 feet.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's the way they graded it. You can see where they graded it that way.
Which was the
Well, on my
same
property,
thing down the end of the road is. The other one used to come out where that stubbed road is and go down to the ditch and then come and meet and go out. And that, where the road is, that was all filled in. So that's probably why that was so deep, because it's not that deep out in the field. You go out 40 feet in the field, it's probably 3 foot deep.
Go ahead, Logan.
I would like to add, just so that we're all on the same page, it has been quite a while since we all talked about this, and Bill has gotten back to the council here. The original purpose, the original reason the city got involved in this was because there was water pooling in our right of way and undermining a road if it's in the right of way or on the road. So those are the two places where it was in the right of way and on the road.
Where was the clogs at? On the homeowner's side?
We found one on a homeowner's property, the other one,
Yeah.
the other one we did not proceed that far. It was at homeowner expense. And that seemed to take care of a portion of the problem.
And it's only temporary.
Yeah.
Till the roots grow back.
Till the roots grow back, that's correct. It relieved some of the symptoms that we had on the road, or damaging the road. But I don't have access, and I cannot hire a contractor to go on somebody's private property, so I was not able to continue to fix 69. I did work with the DOT, and we put in an intake there, and all it was is a Band-Aid. It just takes the water that's flowing out of the utility box, takes it to a intake, and it takes it away. However, that whole area is still saturated. I mean, you can't step on it without sinking in, but it is taking a lot of water away. So we were able to do that. The DOT was more than happy to work with us. So
And the other right of way is from where you're having the street issue.
I wouldn't say that's not a problem anymore. I would say that the issue has relieved itself slightly, but without having access to those pipes and knowing where they go, I did try and dig in the city's right of way and see where those pipes went. They were not within any accessible area to the city. You couldn't find them, and that's as far as I go. I mean, we had a 10 by 15 foot hole in two areas. I can't go any further than that without trespassing, and can't have a contractor go on my private property. So I'd say it's alleviated, not necessarily fixed.
I don't know,
There's still one plug up that's still running down through the waterway.
Yeah, I don't know
Still
where it's
leaking in
plugged.
the street, too. Still leaking in the street, still got water coming out the street.
No, it's a sump pump. It's a sump pump.
Oh, it's something.
There's a sump pump that got moved over.
Well, that might come back too, you never know if they have a wet fall or a wet spring. That might be an issue again.
It very well could be. I cannot confidently say that it won't be, but I've also exhausted every avenue that I can legally take from the city side.
There's more water back there now than what there was in the spring, and it's not coming up. Or in the right of way.
Sure, they got the same problem.
I don't know that. What I'm saying is when it was coming up through the road and into the right of way, there was less water pooling in the back.
Oh, when it froze, my doors would open or close.
You had a pretty unique situation in the district.
It was hot, to say the least. Didn't flush the sewer because of the lateral, the septic was frozen, and the light. So, I think, for a September meeting, EK, Forrest, I'll ask him to answer your questions at the meeting. And any other questions that everybody has, and, we'll have a discussion on it. And then, you wanna put it on, a vote?
My whole issue, and I understand what you're saying, is I don't wanna spend all this money and find out that we missed 3 and we didn't fix anything.
Yeah, well, that's my concern.
I can guarantee there's 3 of them. I'm pretty sure there's at least 4. And,
Or one, 4 or one more.
one more.
There's three besides yours.
I know for sure there are 3 of them. There's no doubt there's 3 of them. 3 of them that I have personally dealt with. When the homes were built, I'm pretty sure I saw at least one home, if not 2, that dug up tiles as they were being built. So I'm pretty sure there's at least 4 or 5. So,
What are your thoughts if we could move ahead? What would it take for us to move ahead?
well, if you're gonna do it without the easement, I have no problem with you fixing the problem. But I don't wanna give up a permanent easement in order.
I see you're saying, yeah.
That's fair.
Sure. I don't blame you.
And you wouldn't care if we put a salt pipe through there or a perforated one northern east and west?
Well, the
That
The
doesn't
red
make-
option do either
That
way.
doesn't make any difference there. I guess the only thing I would say is, I wanna make sure that my tiles are connected to it.
Oh, yeah.
that's the key thing.
That's the whole thing.
And I wanna make sure that if I ever have to repair one of my tiles, if I need to make another connection, I can.
Yes.
Go ahead and connect it, that's.
If you wanna make sure that yours stays clear from there on, yeah, make both directions solid.
So with what you're saying, you witnessed 2 pipes that got cut that never got put back together.
Don't know that.
Don't know that.
I know the hole was dug and the tile was exposed. Now, if the contractor did what he was supposed to do, he would have fixed it.
And ran it around, so.
But I don't know that, I wasn't there when that part
If
happened.
the 2 stub streets that are on 134th running north, and they start building on the south, and start building to the north, and you get a builder in there that doesn't do the same thing, we're just kicking the can up the hill.
If you get a builder that doesn't do what he means the same thing.
To tie in the tile, we're
Well-
kicking the can up the road. Say we spend 150 grand, 2 years down the road, they start building houses, running north up that hill. You have a contractor goes in there and builds 3 houses, doesn't tie the tile back in.
But the
And-
thing is that we got B&K that's we would do directly right.
Some,
Well, no, what if we found out DK in their inspections, they would control.
wasn't this inspected when they built all them homes on 134th?
Polk County did,
Polk County was supposed to.
you know, they didn't do
We'll
that.
go down that road.
So, you
Alright,
know,
enough said with.
if, heaven forbid, we would love to see him have that problem with building houses.
Now, I would say that what you said would be a problem, if somebody sections it off. That's very, very unlikely to happen with that piece, because we have 4 owners of it. And the only way we have a reason to sell it is if we can get a better deal than what we have now. So that would mean we'd have to trade more than 1 acre for an acre. And so the only way is that's gonna happen is if somebody buys the whole piece. So if they buy the whole piece, they'll be developing 140 acres. They won't be developing 2 acres.
Oh, there we go. They'll have to have the big equipment come in, dirt scape everything to drain everything, say to 6th Street, so that it runs that way instead of down through. Yeah, okay. I get that.
They have to plat the whole thing.
Yeah, plat the whole
Plat
thing.
the whole thing.
There you
And
go.
that
That would be the correct way to do
would
that.
be the cream.
Yeah,
for us,
yeah,
if we do
exactly.
And he was also talking about putting cleanouts here and there to address that issue if we have a problem. So we know where all the tile is running in and connected to.
We
We
wouldn't be doing anything with the cleanup.
I don't see what you need to clean out if it's a solid pipeline.
Better be,
And
One-
stuff sticking up above the ground is going to interfere
now,
with.
we was talking about underground, at least 4 feet. One of them was talking about capping underground 4 feet mark. So they take 10 days or a laser to find your, that's all
If it was below his equipment,
I said 4 feet.
yeah, 4 feet would be, 3 feet would be.
Well, I don't know, it's just kind of subject to engineer. And we want a certain diameter of the pipe so we can carry the flow, you know, all that other stuff.
So just for clarity, you would allow us to come on your property and put this pipe in?
Still need a temporary construction.
Whatever, as soon as we're done, it goes back to you, if we damage any of the crops,
good.
Does it have to be 10?
Now, well, any Tylers are 50.
Yeah, says crops crazy.
Well, you know, we'll take it, what we can get, but we'll ask them if we can book. But, you know, we have to have our rules here.
So who's then responsible? So now we're paying for a pipe on your property. Now who's responsible for that pipe down the road? Is that us or is that the property owner?
It's the property owner. We do not have an easement, so we will not maintain it.
I would say it would be my pipe, my problem up until where it was out on Bill's farm. Now Bill's responsible, that doesn't sound right either.
Well, maybe
Bill will give us an easement.
Well, you guys technically should be responsible for that waterway, that is an easement. That was an easement put in there, the city should be responsible for that. So Bill shouldn't have had to do that.
Water, there's a bridge.
Still got, it's kind of sore.
Doesn't look good though.
I don't know what's
Look at the seal.
Well, I think, well, we could get that water stuff running back and then we can get money up.
Okay, well, we'll put something together, a resolution then for, vote, as long as Forrest is here to answer any questions. And I'll ask Forrest to
A vote to
step in
proceed,
on the resolution.
to proceed with Forrest doing his
Good
market
thing.
survey and
Due diligence.
Do you need to have Keith come back?
Doing his due diligence,
Not
not necessarily doing any of them.
No, I,
This week.
you can come back next month and see how.
set up
Were you watching the TV? I didn't think anybody was watching.
what needs to be done. Size of
Okay,
fire.
I think you should go.
Everybody, any more questions on this issue for anybody?
On what, the drainage?
Yeah, the drainage.
I'm good on it for now.
Okay. All right, I don't have anything else. Do you know, motion to adjourn? or-
I want to reiterate about third, fourth, and fifth. Everyone I've talked to does not want one-ways. They do not want a walking path to where you cannot park any cars. They want to be able to park their cars on the street, they want two-way traffic, and a lot of them had no problem with a signage saying no right-hand turns. So they really don't want to lose,
What about speed bumps?
speed bumps. Everybody wants them back. Well, I shouldn't say everyone I talked to said they want them back. Kathy, everybody with kids that I've talked to would really like to see them back.
And I'd echo that on 134th Avenue.
Yeah.
I would not echo that at all.
Well, I know you won't, but you know, there's five of us here, or five of you here, and we'll just have to, see how it comes out. You don't have to agree with everything.
What was the reason they were taken out?
The stop signs, when they put the stop signs in, they were in the wrong place.
Really close to the
Yeah,
stop
that's one
sign.
way they
On
stop,
102.
just
It makes
go
sense.
over it, then you had to stop the sign and it was like,
They were bad. But anyway, now that's.
I thought it was the county of snow removal.
He whines about snow removal, but that's too bad.
I pushed for 10 years. I didn't have a problem with speed bumps.
You did
At all.
snow removal with them anyway.
They don't bother me at all. You just slow down and you can buy that.
After the fact, yeah, I've never.
but what they found out that short ones, the small ones, the faster you go, the less of a bump they make. The slower you went, the more of a bounce you got, you bottomed out. When those kids found out, you get to do 45, 50 miles an hour, like you do, boom, they're over, you don't slow down.
I gave
So you
everybody,
get something longer with the whole car, you gotta bounce up on it, bounce down.
I gave everybody last month a thing on the speed humps and what the speed humps are designed for. And they're specifically designed that the slower you go, the less impact you have. They're different than the speed bumps. You have the bumps, the humps, and the tables. So I'll give you that since you did not have that information.
A little bit, Hey, Keith, thanks for coming in.
Yep, thank you for your cooperation. And, remember, we're here to cooperate too. like to see your property sold and developed. And we're trying to do everything that we can to facilitate that with the urban renewal, the blighted, all of the tipping and those kinds of things. We're set to do that kind of stuff. You just gotta get a buyer for your property, or a trader.
I don't think anybody will buy it until they're paying sewer, to be honest.
And you know what, if you had 140 lots or 140 acres, you know, and 200, almost triple the size of the city, then you can take that kind of development and borrow money to build what you need to build to facilitate that. That can be done.
I get calls weekly, as soon as we find out there's no sewer.
Have anybody want to go golf course yet?
No?
You should start on that now.
I don't know, usually the golf courses go broke the first two investors.
That's true.
They'll charge you for living so close.
That's what grandfather did.
Grandfather, yeah.